If you think about it like almost like a Venn diagram, you've got your main audience here, and then you've got all of these different niches that your product is still relevant for, that you can fit them in together, and then that is how you ultimately then go to scale and triple your revenues. Hey guys, it's Josh and Sam here from Elite Brands. I'm the senior manager here at Elite Brands, and Sam's one of our senior paid social managers as well, which is awesome. Elite Brands, we help e-com brands scale to 8 figures and beyond. And today we've got another interesting strategy that we're running, and something new that we've found that is really transforming the accounts that we're implementing this in. We wanted to share it across to you guys because we think that it is going to be transformational, not just for meta ads. Like today we're going to be primarily focusing on meta ads, but there are elements of this that you can bring across to other aspects and other channels of your marketing. But yeah, today tripling sales sounds really good. How are we going to do it, Sam?
Well, so what we've been doing for a number of our clients is actually trying to find, okay, well, what type of niches does this brand have that we can really target and get into? Because we find with a lot of our clients is that we'll be able to get into be able to get to performance, but to a certain level, and the ads just start fatiguing, and we can try pushing the one angle or the one niche that the audience has, but even if we try different types of creative, it still isn't really growing the business. And so what we've found to be a bit of a secret weapon for that is actually having these, with our account structure, looking into each client, being, okay, well, what are the niches that are relevant to this business or this brand? And so for example, which we'll go into, one of the clients work with sells like security cameras, and with that, we were kind of just going, we were talking more to, I guess, the kind of the safety aspect, but we weren't really talking really to, okay, well, who is this audience here? And there's so many different niches when you look into that. There's people who need security for their pet, people for the elderly, for their child. And what we've been doing recently is really making sure that we've split out our account structure, so we've got campaigns that are talking to each specific audience there and each specific niche, and making sure that the creative there is really obvious, and making sure that Meta is able to, when crawling through the ads, able to see, yes, this ad is targeted to people who are putting their mother in a nursing home, or this one is targeted to people who have pets that need taken care of.
Yeah, and I think that's a critical thing as well, that creative aspect of it, because it's no longer interest-based and lookalikes and all of that. It's really what we're finding at the moment is it's all coming down to the creative, so like the image or the video that's being in the ad or featured in the ad, and then also the copy and how you're framing that, who you're targeting, who you're calling out within that as well. So it's pretty interesting. It's going to be good to have a look. Let's see that client account that we saw with the home security. Let's have a look at that and see what niche have we gone after now. So they've gone from home security. What are they looking at now? What's the niches that we're broken into? Cool. So this is the ad account that we can see here. And we've got obviously like a general, what we would call a scale campaign, which is just a purchases campaign that's going after our warm audiences, which is essentially like it's really a remarketing campaign. Is that right?
That's right.
Is the main one. Yeah. And then we've got the tiny track one up here, which is that separate niche ad. So this is like, within the first week or two of going live. Let's have a look. Break it down for us, Sam. What's the ads look like? What's the performance look like, etc.?
Yeah, cool. So here are the ads here. Now, this is, I might just maybe mention, just like we talked about before about targeting and how it is the creative that does the targeting. For this campaign, we did put in some pet interests, but it's not really, for other niches we've done, we haven't put in any interest. We've kept it completely broad.
Yeah.
But for this, as you can see, all the ads here are focused on the pet angle. I can just give you a bit of a preview of them. So as you can see, text here is talking about the pet tracker product that we offer. And then with the creative as well, it's really, talking to the emotional aspect of, of losing your pet. Making sure that obviously, having a really strong call out, so something like never lose your pet again, but also ensuring that we are showing the pets in the creative. If we were just to have like never lose your pet again and just imagery of the product we sell, Meta wouldn't be able to actually identify, okay, this is going after people who have an interest in pets or pet owners.
Yeah. And this is for, again, to reiterate, this is a home security company. It's something where their main audience is very far removed from this niche. And if you think about it like it's almost like a Venn diagram, you've got your main audience here, and then you've got all of these different niches that your product is still relevant for, but you can fit them in together. And then that is how you ultimately then go to scale and triple your revenue. So you've got, your core audience, and then you go, okay, well, now I've got this second niche audience. In this case, it's going from home security to then pets and making sure that they're all secure and tracked and all that. Great. What's the next one above that? And I think we've even taken that off the back of the good performance of this one, because I think we hit like a 3.9 ROAS, which for this account is quite good. We hit a 3.9 ROAS in the first couple of weeks of scaling this campaign. We've now moved into another niche. Is that right?
Yeah, do you want me to show you that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So the nanny cam one. So this is I might just this has launched recently.
Yeah.
With in terms of targeting, completely broad, but going after that kind of like babysitter nanny angle, and promoting the nanny cam products that they have. So you see here.
Yeah.
And you can see that creative, all talking very, very different audience that we're talking to versus the pet tracker one.
Yeah.
And similar text, all talking, making sure we're calling out nanny cam, and the creative actually showing a babysitter and things like that. So it sounds very, I guess, obvious and just common sense. But sometimes you can get carried away and lose focus of, okay, well, exactly. And it means also sometimes the ad doesn't have to look amazing and be over the top with creative bells and whistles. Like, okay, well, what is best going to speak to our audience, and also what's going to be the easiest for Meta to crawl and understand, yes, this is for that particular segment.
Yeah. Something that it would be interesting to test, and let us know in the comments if you do run this test and see good results with it. But it'd be interesting, even just like relying heavily on the text. So up the top there, we've got like nanny cams are obvious. This one isn't. Maybe even calling out like big bold text at the top, like, hey, you need to, XYZ with babysitters. You need to make sure that you're keeping an eye on them, or keep an eye on your children. Or like, do you hire a babysitter? Like that kind of thing, where it's like calling out a specific thing or an action that the potential customer is taking, and say, hey, you need to do this better, or you need to do it this way, as opposed to the way that you're currently doing it.
Absolutely.
That would be good to also run through and test. I think we're doing that at the moment with another account that we've had a look at, where it's a water filtration company where they sell like water filters, and they currently have found that a lot of fly-in, fly-out, so FIFO workers who might go and work out in the mines here in Australia, they have, not the greatest water quality when they go fly out to the mines. Because it's literally like it's a pop-up town pretty much when you get out there, I've heard. So anyway, that's when you get over there, you have poor water quality. They're finding that they're selling a lot of water filters to these fly in, fly out workers, and they're transporting them over to their places over there. So we've called that out specifically in ads to go after those FIFO workers. Is that right?
Yes. Did we show you that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So here are the FIFO ads I'm talking about. And again, like it might seem like common sense, but it's just a simple calling out FIFO ? Get clean water anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
Making sure that the products are relevant to what we're selling. And it can be quite a simple creative like structure as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get overwhelmed with, there's so many different choices of directions you can go to. But what we've seen work well is just being able to have like a simple like background image that talks to, or is familiar with the audience we're going after, having a strong headline actually on the creative, and then to be able to give a bit more context as to what's been sold, and actually putting the product there as well.
Yeah, that's cool. So I guess one of the questions that I've got off the back of this, and I've had while we're managing this for our clients, is how do you actually generate these niche audience targets? Like, what's the best way for you to actually go about that? Is it, maybe using some AI tools? Is it like just general brand knowledge? Like, you just got to go back to the old days of actually thinking for yourself instead of just relying on AI?
Yeah, well, a bit of both. I mean, I think that as much as like, AI, we use AI to help, and it is obviously incredibly beneficial. Probably the thing we start with the most is, okay, well, actually asking the business owner or the marketing team to understand, okay, well, who who is your audience? Who are these, from, and making sure that, everyone within the business, from customer service to marketing to, accounting, like to actually understanding, like, what are some of these audiences that we're seeing a lot of feedback from, or we're also just finding that there's opportunity for. So starting with that, and then obviously using AI or ChatGPT to be able to find out, okay, well, here is our website. Here's what we offer. Here are some of the solutions that we offer. Come up with X amount of avatars, and then order them by most effective. And that's something we do quite a bit. Say, okay, well, what are the most effective ones that will come out? Let's start with the top three, and then go from there. And also try not to get let our bias get in the way too much of, if we think, oh no, like, for example, like the business owner might be like, oh no, I never see that particular audience come through. It's like, okay, well, perhaps the ads actually have never been speaking to that audience, so let's try that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. I like that a lot. The other thing, while you were talking, I think maybe like your reviews. I know that it can be sometimes hard to identify, specific customers and all that out of reviews. Like, someone's not going to leave a review and say, I am a male aged 35 to 45 who have ordered this product and I work. But I think what you will find is that in those reviews, you will see people that say, hey, I'm using it for this reason. Or like, I'm so thankful that it solved this problem for me.
Yeah.
That can lead you down the line. I'd export my reviews, chuck that into AI and see what it can analyze out of that.
Yeah, that's such a gem. Using, if you're using Shopify, using something like Judge Me, like having that data and put into ChatGPT, is able to get some real at mass scale, you can actually see what the common themes are.
Yeah. And then I was also thinking, I think Google Analytics used to have this. I don't know if they do in GA4. I know Google Ads does, but you can see like your affinity audiences. So instead of like your in-market audiences, it's like, okay, well, if you're interested in, like, let's say water filters, you would also be interested in 30-minute cooking videos.
Yes.
Or you would also be interested in the royal family or something like ridiculously like kind of out of the normal kind of thing. But this, like, okay, people that are interested in clean water are also interested in this.
Yeah.
That's probably another way that you can go about it. I wouldn't say that that's a niche per se of your audience, because it is a little bit more disjointed, but you could lean into that a little bit more.
Absolutely. And I think like that would be, for like a type of industry that's very competitive.
Yep.
Where, you might be finding the CPMs are very expensive and there's just, there's not much differentiation. It's like, well, actually, is there a particular audience that we haven't, that it might be useful for, that, we actually, it could be, like a random affinity audience. Let's say it's skincare, and let's say, well, have you thought about going after cyclists or something like that? Well, let's try a campaign that is just targeting cyclists around some pain points they have around skincare or something. Yeah. So and it's also something to do, when you are a scaling business and you are trying to widen up your audience and you run into the fatigue issues, is to obviously look at like what niches are applicable, but also what niches, what affinity audiences you can go after. Also using ChatGPT, to understand, okay, well, what are some perhaps trending topics at the moment as well that would be worth actually setting a campaign up for, and doing everything for, like, even for the security company, we did one for the whole Coldplay thing that came along. And so that was, that was a riding, the wave of a meme, which I think now is kind of a bit yesterday, but at the time, you go on your newsfeed and everything was around it. It's like, oh, actually, well, home security, partner infidelity, like we could probably do something with that. So it's thinking outside of the square a bit as well.
Yeah.
I should also mention, really cool. With the reviews, that can also be used in the creative and copy. Sometimes, like, you see people, put reviews in ads, but it's just like, it's very generic. And it's like, oh, I love this product, so good, excellent customer service. But that's, it's not going to, it's very vague, and it could be for any product. But what you want to do is, find those reviews that you have that are saying that, okay, if there's one calling out that, hey, I'm a tradie and I've been using this for X amount of years, something like that. Ones that, immediately call out who they are, putting that in like the body copy, or putting that as a call out on the ad creative itself.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. That's really cool. I think this can also extend to, especially like your email marketing. I think it can also work in Google Ads, potentially to a lesser degree. With Google, it would require obviously the search intent, like the traffic would have to be there for people that are searching for like a particular thing. So, for instance, in the example of the home security company, instead of just optimizing for keywords like GPS tracker, it would be optimizing for like pet trackers or pet GPS trackers and some like having that context around it, and then serving an ad that is explicitly has that copy in the the title, all the descriptions, etc. The only problem is that you need to have people searching for that. So it's like you can't go too like super niche. You'd have to be careful about that. But I think for platforms like if you're using like email or SMS, sending out campaigns like targeting these niches, you're gonna find people that either know someone that has like a particular problem, or they're going to potentially also have that niche inside of them. They've got multiple interests, obviously. If someone's interested in home security, they may have a pet. They probably have a pet. They're probably going to want to track that. And so you're framing the whole conversation now in a different way for your existing customers as well, which is, I think, pretty strong and pretty good to get that repeat customer rate up, and also your lifetime value up by just simply positioning the products in a different way.
Yeah.
I think if we can go through, I think what would be really good is if we could actually show and break down how we set up those campaigns so that we can get that scale. So what does it look like to go from, maybe we've got, a couple Advantage Plus shopping campaigns in Meta. We're trying to scale our account. How does it actually practically look when we are setting up these niches to then get those increases like the 2x or 3x in the revenue?
Cool. So for the structure for these niche campaigns, what you basically look at is so within the account you've got campaign one, or let's say your niche is tradespeople. So, and then from there you've got, and we're using Advantage Plus campaigns. So it's just the one ad set that we've got. And before we talked about like the audience and making sure that you don't have to use interest relating to specific things. What you also need to keep in mind as well is that like with the targeting, a lot of the time the audience might not be like, yes, you're going after tradespeople, but if the ads knows you're going after tradespeople, but they also know that this user is a partner of a tradesperson or a mother of a tradesperson, and they can Meta can see this based off the frequent interactions through apps they own, like WhatsApp, like Messenger. They're going to show it to those people as well who have influence in the decision making. So that's why I wouldn't, some people might be like, oh, tradespeople. Okay, so that's a bloke who's 25 or 18 to 55 or something like that. But really, what you need to be doing is keeping that completely broad. So I wouldn't be, unless there's a very good reason for it, I'd be keeping the gender completely open and the age as open as you can as well.
Yeah. And then the interest targeting, like if you wanted to do that, would you only do that if like there was a big enough audience within Meta? Like for instance, like the pets is as an example, pet interests.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
It's also worth, it's always about testing, but if you want it and the budget allows, it would be worth testing it out for, maybe there is something a bit more niche that might only have, or maybe it's something which is a fleeting moment. Let's say, Oasis are coming to town and we want to do a campaign around that. Like, okay, well, that would make sense to target Oasis for that.
Yeah.
So it's basically we've got campaign one, and then we've got that one ad set below it. And then in terms of ads, typically we have about 8 to 10 different ads.
Yep.
And with that, I guess we want to make sure that the ads are, where's that text? We want to make sure that the ads are obviously all talking to that particular niche. So in this instance, tradespeople, but that they are creatively varied. And we know that Meta loves variety in creative.
Yep.
Looking at ways, okay, well, how can we differentiate each ad from the other? So ad one, for example, might use like some UGC, like user-generated content, and it might be UGC with video. And then ad two, you might have, okay, this is going to be actually more like a polished type of branded style, and that's going to be an image. And then you might have on here, which might be founder, image of the founder, and it might be like a GIF of them moving, something like that. And so if you look at this, you can get the idea that, there's so many different variations that can be made. And so if you've got 10 ads in there that all are quite varied, Meta's going to love that by saying, okay, great. Not only is it very clear as to who the audience is for this, but it's so varied that we know that we can show the polished image ad to people who respond quite well to polished images, and we can then also show the founder GIF to people who have a propensity to respond well to that.
Yeah.
There's a lot. If you look at someone else's newsfeed, you'll often notice not only is the creative and the ads that are getting served very different, also the format that's being served can be quite different.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's also means as well that the platforms that you're being getting coverage on is broadened. So instead of, hey, you're just being shown on Facebook feed on a desktop, now you're being shown on Instagram stories on a mobile.
Yeah. And it's like relevant content for those platforms. Like it's not, this amalgamation of something that's looking like it's just weird. It just looks weird when it's on the placement that it shouldn't be. So you've got like platform native content. I think that's pretty key one. Yeah, awesome. So you would do anywhere between 8 and 10 ads per ad set, and then so one campaign, one ad set, 8 to 10 ads, and then when you go, okay, I've got another niche that I want to go and test. Is it that you go and add a new ad set, or is it a completely new campaign?
It's a completely new campaign.
Yeah.
And so you got campaign 2, and let's say you're going after parents. Yeah, completely different campaign. And then in terms of the actual ad set setup, that's going to stay the same.
Yep.
But then obviously the ads are all going to be very different based off who the audience is. But in terms of the actual format or the creative style, it can still be something like this.
Yeah. And so practically speaking, again, going back to the whole, what results have we seen with this? It's okay, your general, we're going to go after our core audience, let's say that's performing at a 4x ROAS. The campaign 1, we can get that, or you can get that, anyone who's listening can get that to the same ROAS, the same returns, but it's a completely new audience. So you've effectively doubled your capacity to scale, doubled your potential revenue that you can go out, and that can just keep going so long as you find these golden niches.
Absolutely.
is another way to say it. So,
yeah. And then the next step from there then is, let's say you see that this parents angle works really well. Maybe the creative style that you've had with this is quite basic and rudimentary. It's kind of been something that you've just whipped up in Canva. Then you go to the next level. Okay, parents seem to respond really well. Okay, let's actually go and get content creators who are parents to provide custom content for us. Let's go to influencers who are parents.
Yeah,
that type of stuff as well. So it's a good way to kind of get basically a bit of a canary in the mine to understand. Okay, this is who an audience that's actually very profitable for us. Let's smash it.
Yeah, no, it's very cool. Well, let us know if you've got any questions below about this strategy. We'd be more than happy to answer them. It's very interesting. Actually, I do have one question. Ad spend. How much would you spend per campaign? And obviously it would be dependent on your total budget. Is it based on maybe CPA, or you've got, instead of maybe 8 ads, you go down to 5? What's your take on ramping this up, if that makes sense?
I would be looking at with the 8 to 10 ads. I think regardless of your budget, that should be the number you're putting in there. And you might argue and say, how the budget's going to be way too diluted. Even if you're spending, let's say you're spending at least $10 a day, even with $10, and is able to, review and crawl those ads and know which ones are going to work well, which ones don't. So there's some that aren't getting spend. Realistically, it's most likely because they're actually not great ads. In terms of, number of ads, keeping that to about 10. In terms of the budget itself, I think and it obviously does depend on what your average order value is, and margins and costs. Obviously that comes into play, but a good starting point to keep it simple would be $50 a day, and then with each when you launch a new campaign, again, you might find that's working really well. Then it would be worth creating a brand new campaign at a horizontally scaling it, so running it at instead of $50 daily budget, running it at a $500 daily budget.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, let us know if you've got any questions. I know I can keep asking questions all day, every day. But let us know if you've got any questions down below in the comments. More than happy to answer. We'll have Sam, probably Dan as well. Dan, our founder, also coming down there and answering any of your questions. If you'd like to book a call to understand, this in a bit more detail, or what Elite Brands can do for you, if you're, at that point where you're like, look, I'm ready to scale. I want to turn my ecom brand into what we would call like a lifestyle ecom brand, where you want to be a little bit more hands off, actually start taking some profit for yourself as well, have that positive cash flow coming through. We set up automated systems to make sure that all happens well for you guys, both across email, SMS, Google, Meta, and yeah, it's good fun. Let us know. We've got a link in the description as well if you want to book a call with us. But otherwise, we will see you in the next one.